Greetings everyone, Lumberg here. Happy Friday. This will be a shorter merger update video. And congratulations, if you are one of the few worlds that got selected, you got the merger is complete. You are now placing flags. You got this message. Welcome to your new nation. And really, as an example, I pulled up World 309. They placed their hall here, as one of the top 3 alliances, and I think they're the top 1. You can see that they've placed their cities. They're going through that laborious job of kind of burning out all these little small cities. It would be nice if some of these really small cities that never got logged on probably in years could, be removed from the map altogether. That doesn't happen, and you can see it by all these, these walled cities that were random ported here. Nobody created this wall. It doesn't have a shield on it. So there is a laborious task of kind of burning and creating your space to build your hive, to place your flag. So it's just a little bit of a taxing exercise because you have that ability only to place a flag every 2 hours. So you have to have a group effort by your R4s to get this done. That being said, let's look at where we stand now in the mergers. I have finished updating the master merger list and added all of the August mergers you can see here on this list. And you can see this list is longer than July. If you look at July, just as a comparison, now these are collapsed, meaning July shows up as one line. I wanted to show that second line is really for me to keep up with the history. But July had 21 mergers total, including locked and unlocked. And August had a total of 38 mergers, and that's 38 mergers, 2 nations to a merger. So that's 76 nations that got merged. Of that, if you look at that breakout, second world mergers were 9 or 18 worlds, essentially. First time mergers was 32. Those are unlocked nations, or 16. And then locked nations there was 26, 10 for second time mergers and 16 for first time mergers, basically 26 or 13 separate combinations of 2. So let's dive into this. What does this mean? What this means is Camel is staying true to their word, right? If you look at, they've announced that, look, we're only going to do 2 nation mergers through their VIP. Whoops, didn't mean to click that. So, second thing is, thank you to Robin for promptly, letting us know of this merger information. Chaos Land finished on August 2nd. And now you can see this is where the source of how I got the master list of the results. I will say, Robin, if you could just maybe try to see if you could format this a little bit better so that we can easily copy paste it. If you don't have this copy pasted, you can access this list right here. So it's nicely listed here. As well as every single merger that I've been able to track since the beginning of time. So one more thing to really gather from this is that I thought that, we skipped a month because you remember there was Chaos Land. There was no Chaos Land. We're still waiting on the non-merge server for a Chaos Land. Please bring back Chaos Land, please. I really need those mutagen source stones and upgrade my Titans. I really hope Chaos Land is back, and it's one of the best events, and I hope it has not been replaced by the Iron Blood money grab event. That being said, the last merger was July 7th, and people had a lot of time to plan for it. They had that month time. This time, there wasn't enough time to plan for it because a Chaos Land period was skipped, because usually Chaos Land happens, the Wednesday after Frenzy, but they sure enough did catch up. Now, this tells me that Camel is sticking true to their word, which was there's going to be more frequent mergers. Just if you look at that volume, 21 in July versus 38 in August, that is a huge pickup in volume. And, they finished the merger. They just finished it now. And so that was 76 nations, 38 different mergers that already happened. Why did Camel move to this 2-nation merger? It could be a number of things, and it simply might be extending the longevity of the game, which is what one of my contacts, I think Saito, mentioned, and it was a compelling argument. If you just take 1,000 worlds and keep dividing by 3, you're going to have a fewer number of mergers possible with 3 or 4, and you're going to have a lot more mergers possible with 2. So that certainly is a compelling argument, and then it keeps things a little less crowded, extends the life cycle of the game. So if we go here, what does this mean? This means that next time there might be a similar volume, or they might not be. I love this list, and I think a lot of you like this list here, which is, it's kind of that next, who's up next, right? These are the unlocked nations in order of kind of numerical order, meaning the oldest nation to not get a second merger is 249. When was that merger? And, the information here. So I tried to put like about 30 nations. That doesn't mean that 30 of these will merge, but it very well could be that 30 of these first-time mergers might happen, because this time we had 32 first-time worlds merging. That does not mean that it'll be in the same order, right? Some of these might get skipped, but you can pretty much rest assured that within a month or two, these will get merged. This one's a little harder because, there's a lot of other factors that could go into this. This may or may not happen next month. However, some of the VIPs in these nations have gotten confirmation that, look, you are going to be next, right? So there was a lot of these were skipped for some of the other 300 nations that, they will get a merger this month, and GC is not happening, meaning there's not going to be a GC that starts and interrupts the merger. Remember, Camel usually tries to stop and hold off on mergers while GC is happening. Why, I'm exactly not sure, but that's usually what happens. I still have the tabs here of the second time mergers. This lists which of these nations won. You can see, congratulations to all of these. The green ones are the ones, 299, 309. These are the surviving nations. Same list here, just, it has some of that nation data. I do want to point out, for those nations, for the ones that already got the merger, they don't care about the spreadsheet. This is old information. But the ones that are now trying to anticipate and make those connections of who will we get and who do we want to request if our VIPs do get that list, this list of nations, a huge thanks to NDRS of World 320. This guy is amazing. So what he wanted to do the same analysis that I did for these nations, but when it's not too late, meaning how can he kind of figure out who's in my pool? And if Camel asks the VIP, if they ask, they may ask, they may not ask, they may not even listen. But if they do, who would I request, or who should I reach out to in terms of these next group and this pool of nations that might be good? So he went in and filled out, very diligently all of this data. That was as of July 27th. And not only that, he shared it with me and made this publicly available so that everybody else in this pool of nations can benefit from it and reach out. So huge thanks to him. He is awesome. And this information is now available for you to, use for your purposes and communication and analysis purposes as well. So similarly to what we did before, it was, top 10 Alliance BP, top 3 as a percentage of top 10. What's the number of C38s? What's the officer, top 10 officer BP? And then what's the top 10 player BP? I have not gone through and assessed a grade. We will do that as we get closer to next month of mergers. And then finally, first time mergers, this one's listed here. Some of these nations, I did not have the data for, and it was too late to go and grab it and fill it up here. But again, these nations don't exist. The green ones survived, the red ones don't. Congratulations to everyone in their chaos land. If you look at my favorite tab, this history here, this I thought was interesting. So, of the unlocked nations, and I'm just going to show an example. If you ever want to find out, what is the history of any nation that you have, you can type in your nation here or select it here, and then it will show you exactly the history of when each of the nations that went into it, when did they merge, and how many nations are in that nation right now from a history standpoint. So one particular nation that I wanted to show was a locked nation 664. The reason I say that is it's interesting because if you look at this locked nation, it just merged now in August. The first merger that they had was actually in February of 2023. So 6 months ago, almost exactly, they had their first time merger, and that was, a 3 merger nation, because that's when Camel did 3 merger nations. This is a locked nation. And those 3 merger nations now merged to form 2 sets of 3 merger nations formed 1 nation. So really it's basically 3 and 3 from those nations now became 1. So there's 6 nations in 664 now. And this is the list of those nations that go into it. What's interesting is that this is the shortest turnaround of a first to second merger that I've ever seen. Even the other locked nations don't have it this frequently. So it's an interesting case. 664 is an interesting case of how many nations went into it. So most of the nations that you'll see now will be about 6 because they got their first round of three nation merger, and the second one was going to be 2. If you were one of the old ones and you got 2 mergers, you would have had 9 nations in this math here. We are now up to nation, I think, 987. And so, it's interesting. When we hit 1,000, I may just create an account in nation 1,000, unless it's a locked nation. If it's a unlocked nation, it would be nice to kind of see and do the gameplay there. That is it, guys. I told you and promised that this would be a quick video. I will let you get back to your weekend. Have a wonderful time. Good luck to everybody that is merging. Remember, patience, patience, patience. Just getting through those issues. Everybody's under one roof. It's crowded, so just be patient with each other, and then good luck in forming the best nation that you can. Have a wonderful weekend. Until next update, this is Lumberg.